Plot: Dog with a Blog, 2012 to 2015. Written by Unknown. Dog with a Blog is a sitcom that is told from the pup's perspective. The show is about a newly blended family led by parents Bennett and Ellen, whose kids, Tyler, Avery and Chloe, are trying to adjust to life as step-siblings. Tyler and Avery are typical teenagers and are slowly learning to communicate with each other. When they discover a secret about the family's recently adopted pet dog, Stan, they decide to keep it a secret, even from their parents. What is Stan's secret? He talks and blogs. Complicating their attempt to keep the secret is younger sister Chloe, who thinks it's normal to have a talking pooch after she overhears him. But thankfully the parents just chalk it up to Chloe's overactive imagination. As for Stan, he has a knack for getting himself, Tyler and Avery into sticky situations, which helps teach the kids how important family is and how much they need to work together to keep Stan's secret safe. Voiceover off.
When you're a dog that's writing blog posts, what will you write? A dog named Stan whose superpowers are talking like a child might. Tyler, Avery, and Chloe pragmatically helping keep Stan's cover. Or maybe the big thing is that these stepkids are learning to love one another. The spectacular, vernacular, dog aberration. Canine division on television. And do they order kibble with this Disney Plus subscription? There's a furry friend with posts that trend. You'll be obediently puppy trained. With Sky and Melissa, throughout this pod's history, it's always had this name: Dog with a Pod.
Woof, woof, and welcome to episode 52 of Dog with a Pod, the podcast that goes deep into the subversive Disney Channel original series Dog with a Blog and brings you thoughtful critique of this cultural touchstone you surely have heard of. My name is Sky Cloud.
I'm Melissa Buckta. Bow wow.
Yes. We're just coming back, as we always do, to talk about Dog with a Blog on this podcast, Dog with a Pod.
We feel that it's very important that we get the word out about this amazing, fantastic, and yes, wonderfully subversive Disney Channel show.
Yeah.
To everybody, to as many people as we can.
Yeah, and that's why we've devoted this entire podcast. We both are interesting blind people with a lot to say about that, but we figured that's kind of whatever, who cares about that? We care about Dog with a Blog. This dog has a blog, so
yes indeed.
Yeah, you gotta have some respect for that. We have Stan, our dog, with a blog. and his family of ragtag blended family.
And that's super cool, because how many Disney Channel sitcoms can you count on your fingers that are about a blended family?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember how blended any of the families are. So one. Is there other ones? Do you think? Are there ones?
I mean, okay, to be honest, except for Dog with a Blog, which when it came on Disney Channel, totally changed my life and made me think completely differently about how I saw the Disney Channel sitcom landscape.
Definitely.
I was a Lizzie McGuire and Even Stevens girl.
And those were pretty.
Those were the first
consistently non-blended families.
Yes, consistently non-blended.
Yeah, I mean that's, I guess, something like the Brady Bunch is about a blended family, right?
That's correct.
So that's kind of older school. I guess it's like in the modern era when we had a real sitcom about a blended family. It's not been done, at least since the Brady Bunch, probably. Maybe.
Oh no, I think there are plenty of other sitcoms with blended families.
But this is the best one. Because,
by far.
Because the Brady Bunch and other ones, do they have a dog that that doesn't just talk, but also writes blog posts.
Yeah, no, can't say as they do.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
It changed the game on just, it's not just a blended family, it's not just a talking animal, it is a dog that writes blog posts. The blog post thing is really it's very heartwarming to me, that he has a blog. But we should get into it, right?
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, we usually start by, since in case this is your first episode, since any episode of Dog with a Pod could be your first episode, right? We wanted to give some background on our characters. We have Bennett and Ellen, who are the two parents of the three kids.
Right. And then the kids are Tyler, Avery, and Chloe.
Yes.
And as you know, at the beginning of the series, the house is completely in chaos.
Yeah.
Avery is very much a stickler for rules. Tyler is a bit of an airhead and can kind of seem not considerate. And Chloe is kind of a weirdo.
Yeah.
And so their parents are looking for something to bring the family together. What better thing to bring this family together than a family dog?
But Ellen isn't even a dog person.
No, Ellen is a cat person.
Yeah.
So enter Stan. Stan the dog, who has a little bit of a past and is brought home by Bennett and introduced to the family with the very threatening warning of, if you don't take care of him, you won't be able to keep him.
Yeah, and this is a intervention for these kids that can't get along. Bennett, being a world-renowned child psychologist,
Right.
has some sort of authority on how to bring a chaotic family together. Though his parenting methods are questioned many times during the show, but in this case, he was spot on, because not just do they rally around taking care of a dog like you might have in a different situation with the family, but it's also the kids are the ones who find out that Stan can talk.
Right. So it becomes their secret that
Yeah.
they have a talking dog, and obviously they can't give up the fact that they have a talking dog, or Stan will be captured and experiments will be done on him.
Right, because he's had this before. His previous owner did science experiments when he found out that he could talk, and so he's very reluctant to let any adults in on the fact that he can talk, and he didn't even really want to let the kids in on it, but when they were so understanding, I guess he kind of had to, because he accidentally talked in front of them. So
Right. And the kids took it pretty well, I must say.
They really, their brains are pretty malleable. They're 16, 13 at the beginning,
Something like that at the beginning, I think.
Avery,
Yeah.
I think, is 13, Tyler 16, and then Chloe, I think, is 7 or something at the beginning,
Yeah.
somewhere in those areas. So they're still pretty willing to accept and they understand that it's not appropriate to just have to send him away to be experimented on. So they take seriously the secret that Stan can talk. He does write a lot of blog posts.
Right. There are secrets on top of secrets. The family doesn't know that Stan is keeping a blog.
He's keeping a blog. Yeah. Which my question is, he does very explicitly talk about how he is a dog on his blog, and I guess you have to chalk it up to people do genuinely start blogs for their dogs, and so maybe I think you could kind of get away with that, but he does do it from first person, so it is kind of an interesting choice that he has to hide that he can talk from everyone, but he's totally fine having a blog post that's available to the whole world.
Well, yeah, because he is secure in the fact that he has that cover. No one's going to believe him.
Right.
Who's going to believe that an actual talking dog is writing this
It's
blog?
very easy to just write a blog post as a human. So it's true. It's different than if he went on live television, which we're not going to spoil the ending because we're going through and watching each episode as we go along.
Yes.
But no, we're just talking about it just generally. Really, these kids, they're... they all are very different. Tyler, he's got He's got hair, and he's
This is one
man king.
characteristic. He's got hair. He's got very luscious locks.
I'm saying that like it sounds like I'm being silly and flippant, but no, his big character thing is that he has hair. That is like a really main thing of him, is his hair.
He has made how-to videos on how to take care of his hair.
Yeah, he hires Chloe at one point just to take care of his hair, because it is a whole job.
Right. He's also an avid and apparently very good BMX biker.
Yeah.
And he can be dumb as a box of rocks.
He can be very dumb, but he's very good at math and also loves working at a food cart, and is very skilled at that as well. So he kind of like has a lot of skills, but is very dumb. So somewhere in there, and he has hair. He really has hair.
Beautiful hair. And Avery, who I think honestly is my favorite character in the entire
She's
show.
everyone's favorite character. I agree.
I love Avery. The way that she delivers her lines. She's so committed to everything that she's doing.
Yeah.
She is our very straight-laced rule follower. Rule following person.
Rule following when the writers think it's convenient.
Right, and then all of a sudden she just dumps that entire personality trait is just like out the window, and she will come up with the craziest schemes on how to fix something. And we're like, well, wait a minute. And I guess her whole character arc was she's becoming a person who doesn't have to follow rules. But that whole thing is taken care of within the first episode.
Yeah, the first episode is like a big revelation that she shouldn't follow rules, and then from then on it's just like, depending on how the plot is supposed to unfold, she either starts out still being a big rule follower and then she learns to not be as much, or they completely forget from the beginning that that's her character trait.
She's kind of like how Dee started out in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Dee, if you watch the first season, started out as the voice of reason in the gang, and then literally by the second season they all just decided, you know what? No, she's as weird and terrible and awful a person as the rest of them.
Yeah. Does this show have a voice of reason? Chloe. No.
No, God, no.
I mean, Stan
and
Avery kind of take turns.
Yeah. Because they can both be, they can both make really bad decisions. I mean, especially pitted when you pit them against each other. In my personal favorite episode, World of Woofcraft.
Yes.
Episode 5 of the first season, I believe. Don't at me if I can't remember if it's episode 4 or not.
These Dog with the Blog diehards. But they're pitted against each other because Stan is playing a World of Warcraft similar game and pretending to be a human. And really wants to meet the kid that he's playing with.
Yeah. He's Poodle Lover. I can't remember the numbers, but Poodle Lover, and then the kid he's playing with is Kilgore.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes me happy, because I'm assuming this kid has never seen Apocalypse Now and has no idea where the reference actually comes from, but it's something that the writers came up with because they thought it was funny.
That one is very much, there's a lot of things in that episode where you're like, the writers thought this was funny.
Right. So Kilgore wants to meet up at this like gaming convention in the park. Okay, let me just say something about this park that they all go to. Because
yes, the park is a big
we see the park.
feature.
Yeah. Man, so much stuff happens at this one park.
Yes, this place is just such a...
There's a game convention and a BMX show, and there's a women's weightlifting championship and more. There's so many different
There's
things.
An art show.
Right.
There's what else happens at this park? There's a concert for like a Swedish like classical musician, I think at one point. They are just constantly they're also constantly in the park, and it's every time they're like, oh, let's go do something, like let's we could go on a date or something. It's like literally every single time is in the park.
We cut to the park.
There's just they have no other place to go. It's just a beloved park. I mean, it's the star of the show. It's almost like they really only had the budget for like 4 sets.
Right. Because they live in a really nice house, and we only ever see the living room, the kitchen, Bennett's office, and Avery's room.
Yeah,
there's the 4 rooms in the house that you see.
There are, like, because everyone has a bedroom, but we really don't see. It's a big house, but like, okay, so you know how you have things in New York and you have like these giant apartments because the cameras need to fit in there, and you'll be like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, this at least I'm like, okay, so it's like it's in LA, so
Pasadena, but yeah,
right, but like it is in Southern California. It's mostly single family homes. And they would have to be pretty rich to afford that house, but at the same time, like, Bennett has sold all these books. Even though no one seems to respect him, he seems to have, like, at least been successful in his book selling, maybe?
He's still, even though he is a child psychologist, he is still the dopey dad.
Yeah, very dopey.
But, I mean, I gotta say, I love their chemistry. I love them as parents. I honestly, I think they're great. And at first, Beth kind of threw me for a loop with her Bethisms.
Or Ellen.
Oh my God. Beth is Ellen's real name. Yes. Sorry. I have a couple of friends named Beth, so it just feels really natural.
Yeah.
Ellen, I loved all of her Ellenisms, and at first they kind of threw me for a loop, but
good one, Ellen.
Good one, Ellen. And then the way she laughs, and
it is pretty great.
It's great. It's so great, and I'm just, she's like almost a caricature of a mom, but not quite.
Yeah, she's a little too weird in some ways, and her jokes are probably more dad humor than
right. If you were to compare her to other moms in shows like this, she's definitely more on the cartoony side.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a pretty cartoony show in general. Like, I mean, obviously it centers around a talking dog, so I mean, like, Avery in a way, I guess, is probably one of the least cartoony of the characters.
I don't know, kind of, because
she kind of is a cartoony archetype, right. Like the Lisa Simpson, or like there's a bunch.
Well,
of
even
examples.
in just the way she speaks, that's what stands out to me about a lot about this show is like every character has a really distinct way of speaking.
Yeah,
and I can't tell if that's a choice or was a direction that they were given, or
and they're also like, I love how every actor does impressions and accents and stuff in the show, which was like I was just like, it's interesting because they you think of Disney, it's like, oh, everyone has to be able to sing, which I think they also can sing, but I was just like, that is kind of a cool extracurricular skill that you get to showcase in the show, that everyone's doing accents and things and playing these weird characters. They're actually pretty good, except for the parents are jokingly bad a lot of the times where they do accents that they're supposed to be really terrible, but at the same time it's kind of there's a level of silliness that it makes me think of an improv where it's just you look so stupid and but hey, do it, so just get comfortable with looking so stupid. And I just appreciated that because I feel those are the skills that you can develop. I think of them as improv skills that you develop, and then they're not really through the industry of film really as treasured. So I kind of like that they got to do a bunch of weird accents and things like that during the show. It was kind of cool. And Chloe, oh my gosh, she's
Chloe is, yeah, oh wow.
She's a very impressive actress. She has
to play a few years younger than she actually is. Yeah. But her character doesn't come off as a baby.
Right. It's just kind of a very wild imagination because she tells the parents right away that Stan can talk. Right. She doesn't realize that but she has such a wild imagination that they're oh, ha ha ha, dogs can't talk.
She doesn't become a really annoying character. They know exactly how to deploy Chloe into certain situations, and I never really found her tiresome.
Yeah, it was really, I was impressed by that because a lot of times the younger one is like, oh, they're so cute and quirky.
Right.
And like even though she is that, like it worked in a way that a lot of times it doesn't because you're just like, okay, well, it's just because you're getting a young person to say weird stuff. Like, or to like, oh, like someone that young shouldn't be saying something that's like that old or, stuff like that where it's like, okay, that joke is like, has very little mileage. But she just like, even though she does some of that, she's still, it's a lot more than that. She's just a very like just does things that are funny on their own, I think, and like it's a different kind of humor that's not just, oh, she's so precocious or something like that.
Well, and
it's
she's
bizarre.
Yeah, and like, she's really, I love the way she has to deliver some of her lines. I mean, she cracks me up. I mean, talking about and all these things that I would usually find really annoying. There's a whole subplot about her when they find out that Stan has a blog. She wants to fart rainbows, so she, so she could in little bits and pieces of the episode continues to try and fart a rainbow.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny where it could come off as really stupid and annoying and it doesn't. Yeah. And then the fact that the poor parents are always forgetting her.
Yeah, that's it. They kind of abandon that.
They do.
That's like a big thing at the beginning,
Thank
and then they
goodness.
forget is the thing.
I'm very glad because that was one of the few jokes that I was just like, okay, can we not?
That's what I like.
I really don't like that joke.
I like that it is like they will, at the beginning we had, Stan does something like driving a car or something and gets blamed for it.
Well, Tyler gets blamed for it.
The kids get blamed for it.
Right,
Like, yeah,
right.
Yeah, instead of Stan. And then they have to figure out how they're going to take the blame because they can't find out that Stan can talk, and so there's all these like they have to work together, and then Chloe gets forgotten all the time, and then there's also, I guess, it's a little bit more at the beginning where Avery like is a rule follower, and then but it is kind of funny that they just kind of do that a lot in the first few episodes, and then they just eventually are like, okay, we did enough of that.
right we can move on. I mean, it is really cool to watch the kids learn to love each other and to grow.
Yeah, like in our theme song.
Exactly. And to become more of a family unit. And I like the fact that we didn't have to necessarily watch them fight and watch the family fight.
They're pretty supportive of each other for the most part, which I really like, because it is kind of boring when everyone in the family's just fighting.
Right. I mean, you have the whole episode where Avery helps Tyler try and pass this test to get into the advanced placement so he can just go off and join a BMX team. Okay.
Classic.
Sure. Yeah.
But then she like creates all these obstacle courses for him. We should play a clip. Oh
boy.
I know, there's so many good things you can play.
Now what do we do?
Let's name our country.
Okay, let's see. My name's Chloe. Your name's Stan. Let's name it Chloe.
Where's my name?
Your name could be in the national anthem. Chloe, 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 Stan.
Well, at least my name's the Big Finish.
Chloe!
That's really beautiful. So we have a name and a national anthem. What do we do now?
We need an enemy to conquer.
Hey, Chloe, it's Daddy and Mommy.
They peek out, or Chloe peeks out.
Are they in there?
I think so. I can hear Chloe's voice.
I play in the family room in the name of Chloe.
Chloe, we're letting you play in the kitchen. Don't push it.
Retreat!
Stan, what's going on?
The conflict drags on. Morale is low and supplies are dwindling. I don't think we'll make it through the winter. How was your day?
Stan, bring them now, or I'll have you shaved.
You do not want to see me shaved. I've got a couple tattoos I regret. One's a pink unicorn, and the other one's embarrassing.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's a little bit of a taste of Chloe and Stan's
Relationship.
yeah.
Sorry.
And now we're gonna call our expert dog with a blog consultant, Winter McLeod. Let's call her up. Hey, Wendy.
Hello. So, for one, what did you guys think of Stan having a Pomeranian as a child?
Conrad was very questioning of that. He was like, why is one of them a Pomeranian?
I'm so confused because I'm looking at the puppies and I'm like, one is clearly a poodle. There's a poodle somewhere. And then the other one, is a Pomeranian. And I'm just like, but Stan didn't like Evita, who's the only Pomeranian that he met. So what? He like snuck off before Nikki moved away off screen and like did the deed with this little Pomeranian?
It's just very confusing. I mean, maybe Princess. What? Well, they talk. Okay, because we have Stan's two little kids. He is an actual father, and with Princess the poodle, and one of them is a Pomeranian. Which I was just like, how do we know that Stan's really the dad?
But that's the one that's supposed to look like Stan.
Well, they talk also. So in this case, it really
that's
you have
true.
to be. I mean, unless this is just weirdly some sort of.
So here's my question though. So Stan's kids talk, right?
Yes.
Princess the poodle doesn't talk, right?
No.
Okay, no, I didn't think so. Okay, so apparently Stan just has this like really weird genetic mutation that for some reason he
Is
can pass
dominant.
on.
It's dominant.
Yes, that he can like pass on to his offspring.
Unless it's on the Y chromosome or something. Or X. Oh, wait.
No, but it'd have to be the Y, but then that wouldn't make sense because one of his kids is female, so.
Yeah, you're right. Why is color blindness more common in males?
I don't know.
I think it's on the Y chromosome.
Is it on the Y and it's not on the X and it's just,
So.
is it recessive
It
on
would
the
have to be.
X? I think it's recessive
I
on the
don't know.
X. This is genetics corner.
Now we're talking.
Because I think the thing is that because it's recessive on the because women can be, or like people with XX chromosomes can be colorblind, but it's less common, and I think that's because it's on the X chromosome, and so your mother or like is the one that passes down it to male children or XY children, kind of is how it works. So it's like. It's kind of weird, but I think that's it. But yeah, I'm a geneticist.
But the point is, if Stan has more puppies, there would be like an army of talking dogs in Pasadena.
Yeah, which, oh my god, it could be almost like it would be interesting. Like, and it reminds me of a TV show that I just watched for fun, even though I hate it, called C, where
The truth comes out.
because it's not like we'd have any reason to talk about it on the Dog with a Pod podcast or anything. But it reminds me of how Jeremy Morel is doing his kind of like, he's like trying to have all these children that can see.
Right.
And so what if Stan was like that but with talking?
Stan is trying to make an army of talking dogs. That's a great plot. I'd watch that show.
I mean, that would be really cool. I love that he's kind of a tragic figure in a way. He's caught between two worlds, you know? Like, because he's not a human, and he can't even talk to most humans, but he also can't talk to any dogs because they don't understand him. I mean, he's a tragic figure in a lot of ways.
But if he only likes poodles, then does that mean that every single talking dog would either be a poodle or an oddly Pomeranian version of Stan?
This is a good.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
They would just be like, weirdly enough, there was, dogs are selective breeding, but for some reason, even though no humans selectively bred, there's only half poodles in dogs.
Or poodle mixes.
It is, somehow mixed into the Pomeranian poodle.
Also, I'm just looking it up, and it looks like the average size for a small litter for puppies is like 3 to 4.
Yeah, I know. That was when he had kids. I was really confused. I was like, "Where's the rest of them?"
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, puppy litters usually aren't that. Yeah, I mean, depending on the dog, but yeah, it's they're not huge.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That I just was thinking, like, because there are other animals that have.
Where are Stan's 15 children?
Yeah, where. I mean, also, if he was not fixed, what if he was fixed?
That's the thing, this guy. He was.
What?
I forgot about this because I noticed this. There is an episode where he talks about going to the going to the vet and then having this strange feeling.
Oh,
where
yes.
all of a sudden his desire was dropped.
Oh my gosh. Plot hole.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I guess continuity error.
They just decided, like, in season 3, okay, he's gonna have kids
not
now.
Fixed anymore.
Oh my god.
It's a much more existentially tragic story of him if he was fixed, because it's like he now is the only one that will ever exist, and he can't have children, and there's no known example. And like, because at one point the past owner is like, I have your family. Like, but it's a trick to get him, like, that the family, his parents can talk, and like he uses that as a trick to get Stan to come with him, but it's not true.
Right.
Like, he doesn't actually have Stan's parents don't seem to be known. Like, no one knows if they exist. Though then there's the question of like, are the parents in like another mixed family or blended family household where only the kids know and can't tell the parents, and so no one knows about Stan.
Wait, come to think of it, maybe Stan wasn't fixed because if they took him to the vet that we keep on seeing, maybe the vet messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, so like somehow the vet finds out he can talk, right? So the vet doesn't fix him because maybe this vet just wants more talking dogs in the world. So
he's part of the conspiracy.
Right, he only pretends to fix Stan.
Well, because he sends him
home.
His past owner, who wants to replicate Stan's like ability to talk, so definitely wouldn't have wanted him to go to the like to get fixed. Was that his first owner? Because didn't he have a bunch of owners?
I think he had a bunch of owners, and he was like a baby when he was with the scientist. There should have been a few owners in between.
I wonder if he had, like, what... Because the question is, like, wouldn't they fix him? Like, as a new owner, wouldn't you want to fix Stan?
Well,
when you adopt a dog that's unfixed.
In a lot of places, it's the law. You must, if you want to adopt a dog, you must get the dog fixed.
So what
you
happened?
Have to do it.
Is the question. How did this is like a full conspiracy because he had so many different like families.
I mean, what happened is the writers fucked up. That's what happened.
I don't know. I think there's probably an international cabal of
people with talking dogs,
or specifically with Stan trying to keep the international secret, which Melissa has not seen the final episode, though I have.
I did. What I should have done is the last thing I should have watched was the final episode, but I tried to get through as much as I possibly could.
Yeah,
which was
because we've been doing this podcast for a year and all, but
right.
You know.
We just haven't gotten there yet. But yeah, no, like I wasn't necessarily dreading whatever this was, but I've come out the other side of it, and I will go home and watch the final episode. And I've come out the other side of it really liking this show. I don't think it's a bad show. There are so many more terrible shows that we could have watched that aren't this show.
Yeah, it is. I love how it is just both, when it is terrible, it's in kind of a sublime way, or at least it's hilarious what's happening. But I mean, for the most part, it has some truly funny moments. Do you have any favorite moments, Winter? You're our expert. What am I saying? I don't know how to talk, so that's Stan. He does that.
Honestly, I just really love Nikki's jokes. Those are my favorite.
The neighbor.
Oh, Nikki.
Who Tyler is in love with.
Right, and then just disappears.
Who just
flat out
disappears.
disappears.
Literally, in one of the episodes, Avery is like, having this whole relationship with this guy, and it goes on a few episodes, and then finally he moves away, and it's this whole big thing. And then Tyler is talking, and he's like, well, when Nikki went back to El Salvador, like, we've made it work long distance. And I was like, that wasn't an episode. That didn't happen in their show. And then he was just accepted his fact. So the actress must have gotten another job or something.
Because she was just out.
Mm-hmm. And they just completely wrote her out. Yeah, well, that's like
Never see her again.
That's like what happened in Home Improvement, in like the final seasons of Home Improvement, where Randy all of a sudden is just like, I'm gonna go live in the rainforest. Peace out, y'all. Because like Jonathan Taylor Thomas was getting big by then and realized that he could do more than just this show. So
that's so
Randy
funny.
Randy Taylor just fucking ghosts, and he does come back for the final episode. But yeah.
Yeah, that is. Well, we see Nikki when Tyler and the parents play a game of chicken to get him to go to El Salvador to visit her, and then he winds up just being there. There's one shot of him being in El Salvador.
I don't think that's actually the same actress. I'm pretty sure that they probably
Does she have a speaking role in that
Nope.
scene? That's
No
why.
speaking role
So
that we
you
don't
would know.
Not at all.
So you would know, yeah, because we can't see.
That's usually.
Yeah, we see the back of her head, and that is it.
Oh, okay.
That totally indicates this is not the same actress. Yeah.
And also they did not go on location to El Salvador. I think it's like, what is it in the background? There's just a sign that says "Welcome to El Salvador."
Oh my god!
I didn't even notice that.
Yes,
I think it's like a big sign. It's just one shot.
The sets on this show can be both like super duper detailed. Like all of the rooms in the house, there's so much there. Like there's so much going on. And then there's other sets where it's just like, welcome to El Salvador.
That's it. And we're just in the park every scene.
We're in the park. Yep.
But every time we're in Avery's bedroom, there's something different painted on her wall.
Oh yeah, her art
that.
wall. That's such a neat idea. More parents should do that.
Yeah, it is a really cool. And like I'm just like, she must constantly be painting over it too, because it's like we see so many different designs on that wall.
Do you Winter, do you have a particular episode that's your favorite, or a set of episodes, or
Oh, well, I gotta say, I did love Cat with the Blog just because Avery becomes Ramona Flowers.
Oh, yes!
And
Which Winter, I have to say, Conrad and I watched that episode, and I did not. You told me, you were like, oh, this is the episode where for some reason Avery becomes Ramona Flowers. I did not tell Conrad that at all. We started watching it. The second she comes onto the screen and looks like Ramona Flowers, his first reaction was, whoa, she's Ramona Flowers! Why is she Ramona Flowers?
Exactly.
And I was like, oh yeah, no, this is bizarre.
Oh, that's okay. That's another thing that seems like the writers thought this would be hysterical, and like
because it's like a alternate universe where Avery is a rule breaker, sort of, or she like does graffiti.
Oh my god!
And I love that her graffiti are butts. Then she's like, everyone will think it's drawings of birds, but we'll know it's butts, which is pretty good.
She doesn't act anything like Ramona Flowers. Like the
No.
personality is completely
but she's
different,
just
but the design.
Her
is
outfit is literally Ramona. It's just like bizarre. Like I was not. You say she becomes Ramona Flowers, so I was expecting some sort of plot thing, but then it was just so funny that not only did I like go, oh my god, she's Ramona Flowers. That was Conrad's absolutely. He was like, what? Why is she Ramona Flowers? I don't understand.
Well, somebody
Ramona Flowers.
like the costume designer saw Scott Pilgrim or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. And yeah.
I have a theory. My theory is that at one point the actress that played Avery went to some convention cosplaying Ramona Flowers, and they were like, do you have an idea for how this costume should look?
Yes.
And she was just like, I do.
Oh.
This is my secret theory.
I love it. That's fantastic.
I mean, there has to be some connection to Ramona Flowers, because it does not feel coincidental. I mean, she is just Ramona Flowers full on. It's very bizarre.
It's like they could have done anything. Like if they weren't intentionally doing Ramona Flowers, then they could have dyed her hair black and done like a punk type thing, like they did with, Tyler. Or they could have had her hair be like long and purple. Or even short and do like goggles. A pixie cut. But just, it's the fact that it's the exact same hairstyle and goggles and the color
and her outfit is like, it's so identified. It is bizarre. It is jarring, actually, because you're like, what is going on? Why is Ramona Flowers all of a sudden in this TV show?
I still stand on the hill that joke was like for the parents that are watching this show or whatever.
There was a lot of those where you were like, this is
this is humor for the adult
the
seats.
cultural references. But yeah, there's a lot of, but then they're not super just kind of like, oh, haha, this is like a reference to some like I think they're pretty weird.
Can I just say though, the funny thing is that episode of Dog with a Blog, it came out like a good 4 years after.
Yeah, I was thinking
Scott Pilgrim
that.
vs. the World, which was like kind of the end of the,
that's
franchise.
Yeah, that's what's so weird about it. Yeah. I was thinking that. It's so bizarre. Yeah, because I was like, when I was just like, this is not the right time period.
Yeah, no, I mean, the coolest thing about Scott Pilgrim is it is an absolute time capsule for the period that it takes place in. I mean, it takes place in the 2010s.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or like a 20, kind of like like at the turn 2010 almost is kind of the vibe. But yeah, it is so funny. Are there what are some other? Do you have any other kind of things that you'd like to draw our attention to, being our scholar of Dog with the Blog Winter?
I like that the characters all have like things that they're good at and that they like talk about that. Like, Tyler is so bad at all this stuff, but then he actually is a good driver and he actually is like,
well, he's a
really
terrible
good at
driver
math
to begin with.
I mean,
I got the feeling that they were scared, but the whole point is that they shouldn't be scared that he was doing everything right.
Right. And then there's the bit obviously where Stan gets a hold of the car and drives the car.
Yeah.
that's reckless driving, but
yeah, well, because also Stan's dogs, they don't really deal with Stan as probably his eyesight can't be that much different from mine, I don't think.
Dogs have a wider field of vision than humans do.
Like me.
Yeah.
Like, I have a wide field of vision, but also they're not always as, they don't have as good central vision usually.
Right.
Though, I don't know, I think what kind of dog do we think Stan is?
I
have no clue.
I think he's a cross between an Australian Shepherd or a cattle dog and something else, because
are those
the
like visual?
Makes sense.
Do they need to like see?
Yeah, they're
drones?
herding dogs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Herding, yeah. But they're not like hunting dogs.
No, they're herding. No, they're herding dogs. They're the ones who. I mean, they're
herding dogs.
Things.
So they're protecting and herding. They're bringing the family together, and they're protecting them.
Oh,
that's so cute.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, did you guys see the episode? Because I can't remember which season it was in, where like Stan becomes a guide dog.
No,
or not. Sorry, not guide. I misspoke. Guard dog.
Guard dog.
No.
Yes.
Sorry.
I was like, wow.
I got real excited. Yeah.
But no, we don't.
That's okay.
We don't. Or sorry, I did see that episode where he becomes a guard dog, but then he falls asleep.
Aww.
Yeah.
Poor Stan.
It's so sad.
It's so sad because he can't, because he's like, so he needs a purpose, which it made me like, some of it made me so sad. He's like, I'm so lonely and I feel like I don't have a purpose. Everyone else is. He has like a lot of existential crises, Stan does.
Oh yeah, like, okay, did you guys also see the one where he finds out that like he may only have a few years left to live?
No,
I don't think so.
Wait,
because what it is, so he goes to the vet and the vet is talking about like how, yeah, he's, in really good shape. So he should be able to like live until he's probably like, you know, at least 11 or 12. And Stan is like, wait, what? It's so little time.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Poor Stan! Oh no!
Oh my gosh. Are the kids like that? He has like, it's so funny how like they do deal with a lot of existential things about him, and we sad that everyone's gonna grow up and leave him behind, and some of it are like kid worries, and then some of them are like very adult, like mortality related worries.
Oh, okay. So hang on though. Explain something to me, because I only saw like 1 or 2 episodes with this character. So they bring the character of Kyle in at like the end of the first season. Of course, they retcon the whole first season because like Kyle was always there. He was always in the bushes, or he was always in the kitchen, in the bench, or hiding somewhere.
Do you mean
or whatever.
Carl?
Carl.
Do you mean, I was
I'm
like,
so
I don't
sorry.
remember
Carl.
Kyle. Yeah.
Carl. That's what I'm talking about. Carl. Yes.
Here is Carl's whole plot. So we find out that he is Avery's nemesis in school.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That they are the top like 2 students, so they're
Gotcha.
constantly competing with each other. And then we find out that he also is the neighbor. And then there's all this stuff about like how he becomes like one of the bigger characters because he's always, you know, like playing pranks on Avery or whatever. But then the part where he's like all of a sudden in the bushes in all these past scenes, that is after we're introduced to him that he starts like theoretically spying on him.
Right.
So those are the flashbacks, and that's how he figures out that Stan can talk.
Right. Which I love the episode where they try to convince Carl that Stan's trick is that his big secret is that he's good at math and he can do math.
Yes.
And they use the fact that Tyler secretly is good at math. And then the scene, and this is something that we just can't play on the podcast because it's entirely in the visuals, but the scene where he's outside the window and there's like slow motion of Stan like doing the math problems and like just randomly like making motions is so good. It's so great. It's such a great plan. They have some pretty crafty plans. There's a lot of the ones where, what is it that Tyler and Chloe always want? The plans that are just might,
so crazy they just might work.
Right. Those type of plans. Yes.
And then when Avery's like, we need a really good plan, and they're like, I don't know, I think we need a plan this crazy with just might work.
But so I want to know what happens to Carl though. Does he just kind of like, and then you never see him again?
Carl
Actually, no, he becomes a main character, and he actually helps them, like get Stan's puppies, like be there for their birth.
Oh,
did you see those
so he actually
episodes
helps.
with the puppy? Where he gives birth?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to the puppy episode.
Oh,
I know.
okay.
I have a lot of catching up to do.
I know. Yeah, the puppies are pretty bizarre.
I know their voices really don't fit them. That's another thing about the puppy.
I think they're so funny. Conrad's favorite thing was when Stan was like, "Oh wow, how do you put up with this? It's so creepy hearing a voice come out the dogs." He was like, Conrad's like, "I feel so seen," because he finds the CGI so creepy. It's like, this is the most seen I felt watching the show.
I swear the CGI on his mouth as you progress though gets a little better.
Yeah.
Like gets a little more expressive. I don't know.
I think it doesn't really bother me as much, but I think it's I don't know, it probably did get better. I love in the episode where Avery makes the movie and they have to, and it's about the dog is talking in her movie. And I love the fact that the way that they put it, because you're showing it to the parents, so the parents can't know that Stan talks. So the way they edit it is so funny, where it's just like a weird like little thing that's like they have like a little animated. Can you even see what that is, Winter? Where they animate something over his.
Oh, like they give him
like they animate a mouth over
right.
it.
They give him
like a weird cartoony.
They give him the robot chicken treatment.
Yeah. It's so funny.
It's definitely much better animation than in a talking cat.
A talking cat?
Oh my god! Right.
Which in the episode Cat with a Blog with Ramona Flowers, I was just like, a talking cat? Even though the cat can't talk, because that would just be too. You can't have a talking cat, or you have to at least have a question mark and an exclamation point. I mean, maybe once we're done with Dog with a Blog, we'll have to come back. We'll have to go to a talking cat, just make the rounds of.
Oh God! See, at least Dog with a Blog has charm and heart, and there's some like actual effort put into it.
It's a very sweet story. I mean, Dog with a Blog is. I haven't seen the talking cat. I just really want to. Winter, you've seen both. Which do you think's better?
Definitely Dog with a Blog. Because I mean, there's less porn stars in Dog with a Blog.
True,
that's true.
There's.
I mean, but that's
family friendly.
That's against it. Though the Dog with a Blog does have some very weird sexual references in the show. I mean, mostly with Stan, weirdly enough. I mean, the parents might sometimes, but not really. They're pretty. They don't really have as many.
They're pretty PG.
Yeah, it's mostly Stan that has weird and is like loves poodles and is obsessed with them.
I don't think. In at least, and I could be wrong because again, I didn't see everything, but in all the episodes that I saw, even when Ellen and Bennett are solving a problem or come to a realization and they show affection, they never kiss. It's always a hug or like a hug. That's what it is.
That's true. Winter, do they kiss at any episode?
I don't really notice. I feel like they might at some point. Oh, well, they do reproduce their wedding, so they probably kiss then.
Okay, probably.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Also, another thing, I was looking up some stuff, so a lot of the guest stars actually are, like, people, like usually Disney people, that they come in to basically cross-promote their shows.
Yep.
But apparently the one who is the genie type figure in Cat with the Blog is actually a magician.
Well, that makes sense.
That's so cool.
Wait, so are there crossovers with other TV shows in Dog with a Blog?
Not for Dog with a Blog, because we would know if that was true, because how Disney does their crossovers is that they have one episode on one show and one episode on the other show.
Yep.
And then they revolve around each other. So we would have noticed, but the one where, I don't know if you guys, I feel like you probably didn't see this episode, but there's an episode where like this dog trainer comes in to try and train Stan, and it is completely like a one-off episode, does not ever come back, is never mentioned again. But they did that just so they could have the mom from Good Luck Charlie guest star on Dog with the Blog.
That's really funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember those. Oh, they could be very big events because Disney Channel wasn't the only people who was doing that stuff.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. There, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, there was an episode where there was randomly New Girl, and I was like, this is not
that's
appropriate.
Super weird.
I did not like it.
What are you doing here?
I don't know if I saw that episode.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's just Zooey Deschanel, and I'm like, wrong.
That is
bad,
so weird.
Don't like it.
I don't remember.
I saw the Simpsons Family Guy crossover.
Oh my gosh.
It's trash. It's trash. No, it's not good. But it
episodes
exists.
are only good within the world of BoJack Horseman and just Mr. Peanut Butter.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But actually, a crossover that made me smile because it wasn't necessarily the main focus of the plot of that particular episode was Archer and Bob's Burgers crossed over, and the joke was that H. John Benjamin, who plays Bob and Archer in both shows, that played both characters in this episode, and that was kind of like the joke. But the cool thing was to see each episode's cast of characters get animated in that show's style.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was actually really cool. I enjoyed it.
What if there was like another show that crossed over and then the pets could talk?
So there's this sitcom. There was this sitcom on. There was this sitcom on Animal Planet, and this is why I kept believing that Dog with a Blog didn't exist, because I was always remembering this thing on Animal Planet, and I think it was called like Hot Dog or Darn Dog or something, but it also stars a dog who talks and narrates the entire show. But this show was the sexual humor in this particular show was super weird.
Oh my gosh.
It feels like a fever dream. I think the show
sounds like a fever dream.
Yeah, I think the show actually only lasted for like 2 or 3 episodes or something, but it was the weirdest fucking thing.
Do you think Dog with the Blog will ever seem like a fever dream? It feels a little too lucid to me.
I honestly didn't. Yes, now having watched it, yes, it's definitely not. It doesn't feel like a fever dream, but honest to goodness, hearing you talk about this show, I still was just like, I really don't believe that this show exists. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Well, Winter is the one who turned me on to Dog with the Blog, and I was just like, I need to see this. I want to see it so badly. And then it was a long time between that, and then it was finally on Disney Plus. So thank you, Disney Plus.
Well, yeah, I was.
And actually, it was technically Mom. Mom knew about the show because of me, but Mom had on one of her outburst card things, Dog with the Blog, for me to get.
Because it was dog blank when we play our little outburst cards, and we have to fill in the blank, and one of them was Dog with a Blog. And I was like, wait a second, there's a show about a dog with a blog, and it's called Dog with a Blog. I just love it so much. It's so, and I'm like, I thought it was going to be just very bad and very stupid and like just entirely bad. But I mean, it is weirdly subversive in parts, and it's also like some of the humor is like genuinely funny.
Oh yeah, no, I found myself chuckling more than not when I was watching, rather than groaning or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a fun little show to like just to chill
and it's like
watch.
Not like it's not one of the big title Disney shows. Like the fact that it took them that long to put on Disney Plus, I feel like was a benefit to it, because I don't think people were caring that much about what they were doing, and I think they probably got a little bit more leeway to make some weirder stuff, because I don't think people were betting their house on Dog with a Blog.
Whoa, Alan, you have a talking dog?
You could say he's my pet project. Good one, Alan.
People will watch anything.
The only relationships that actually last in the
Are
show,
Chloe
other than the
and
parents,
her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the dog and it's Chloe. Those are the two.
Oh.
And
So no one over the age of 10 gets except for the parents.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very true. No one over the
Though granted, Stan develops a lot faster. I do like that his puppies, they learn to talk, and then within 2 days, they learn that they can't talk around the parents, so that this whole thing can be resolved in one episode. I guess. And yet, because they develop quicker.
And yet, like, Ellen is carrying one of the puppies around the house, and the puppies, what does the puppy say? Just Dada. Dada,
just
Dada.
to Ellen, and then learns a bunch of other words, and then all of a sudden understands exactly what they mean when they say, like, you can't speak around the parents or we're gonna get science experimented on and taken away. And they're like, okay, now we get it.
It cracks me up that there's the whole episode about the past owner coming and trying to get the puppies, and then when we see him again, at the end of the episode, they're saying, like, okay, so it's a good thing that this isn't real and that they were just acting this whole time and pretending like Stan could talk, because if Stan could really talk, then the responsible thing to do would be to send him away to the scientists. And then in the last episode, they find out he can talk.
And they don't do that.
Just like, oh yeah, we'll protect him.
They call their bluff. It's but that way we could have the roller coaster of a final episode that Melissa has not seen, but was Conrad's official favorite episode.
Oh my gosh.
I knew it. I knew she was like...
So tell me about the final episode. I am so curious.
Though, should we spoil it for
Mm-hmm.
listeners? Because we actually do like Dog with a Blog. We think you should go watch some of it.
That's definitely give it a
We're
give
gonna
it a shot.
we're gonna just get promotion for Dog with a Blog. Disney Plus will be like, what's happening? No one remembers the show.
Okay, here's what you need to know about the last episode. There is a force field.
There's definitely a force field.
This is fantastic.
And
oh my god.
That's all you need to know.
Well, can I add one thing?
Yes.
And it, of course, naturally ends during the ceremony of the Academy Awards.
Yep.
Of course it does.
Of course.
Sure.
Just a very natural place for it to end.
Oh,
of
that's
course.
fantastic.
So, yes.
I gotta
And
say, you
warring
can tell-
government agencies as well is another big part of the final episode.
You can tell that the creators are musical people. That is one thing I have to say about the show. Like, there are so many musical references throughout the show.
Where they have, like, the cranky next-door neighbor who turns out to be, like, a...
Jasmus. Yeah. Jasmus carols. Oh, my God.
That whole episode. I also love when Bennett does, when Ellen have, like, weird, bizarre, quirky things that they do.
I just can't believe my mom agreed to this list thing.
I did not agree to this list thing. But I've always done lists. Bennett, what does that teach the kids? That you write something down and you automatically get it? That's not Christmas. That's Mother's Day.
Well, this is our first Christmas together as a family. I have my traditions and you have yours. But if surprise gifts is what you want, we'll do it.
That's very sweet. Okay, and so what tradition of yours should we do?
Well, I know you think of me as an esteemed doctor, loving father, and macho man of a husband. What you don't know is that I also like to get dressed up and go singing around the neighborhood. Now, it's not just caroling. It's more of a Yuletide cabaret brought to your front door. Pow! La 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 la, la 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 la, pa!
What would your second choice be?
They're so weird. Technically, there is no indication in the show that they've ever slept together because they both had their kids before meeting each other.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Maybe they really are. That's interesting theory. Maybe they've never had sex.
I mean, if you think about it, if you're moving in to a house where you have a bunch of kids that are constantly, like, you know, having all these shenanigans and needing things in the middle of the night, and, like, they're all, you know, kind of like kids or teenager, like, what time would you have?
Right.
Usually if people figure out a way where there's a will, there's a way.
But would you really though? When you have like a talking dog in the house? I mean,
well, they don't know.
Well, that's true. They don't know. That is true.
Oh my god, no, that's creepy though.
Yeah, I know it's creepy. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, there's like a dark underbelly to this.
I do think that there's like something where either in the last episode or in the episode where they're pretending that they think Stan can talk, where like Ellen says something about like, oh wait, you've seen my something. Not an inappropriate part of the body, but just like she does something.
Or
and,
her
you know,
chicken
she's
impression.
Like, wait, who's watching me?
Well, it's just
Oh, yeah,
weird
that
because
was
she
it,
does
that
a
was
chicken
it,
impression,
chicken.
and then she's like, I can't believe he seen me do this, and then she stands up and starts doing it. So it's like it's obviously not something you're that embarrassed about. It's just such a weird.
And yet, like, I love their dynamic.
Yeah.
Together. I think that's on account of the actors having such great chemistry together. But
I love how they play along with so many bizarre scenarios where they both where Chloe keeps dressing up as a superhero to school, and so they both dress up as superheroes.
Yes. And then, oh God. And then like we cut to the house and Avery is saying something about like, oh yeah, no, my family's completely normal. And then and they come as like freaking superheroes. Oh, love
and
it.
Then when
love it.
When her dad is doing a terrible job at the assembly, and then Chloe, or like not an assembly, but like to presenting what he does as his job to Chloe's class, and then she's just like so embarrassed. She brings in the janitor. She's like, "This is my actual dad."
Chloe is sassy. Chloe is a sassy pants. I love her.
That's a great. It's funny, we were saying at the beginning our favorite character is Avery, but I feel like we're mostly talking about Chloe and Stan.
I know. You're right. The heart of the show, Chloe and Stan.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, oh, well, I feel like we should do some Winter, will you stay on for our ratings of Done with the Blonde? How many
pause
are we giving this?
Poodles?
How many poodles? Yes.
How many poodles do we love about this show?
I'm gonna give Dog with a Blog 5 poodles out of 5 poodles because you brought Dog with a Blog into my life, both of you, at the exact right time that it needed to be brought into my life.
Yeah.
And I'm seriously gonna like change my Facebook profile picture to Stan and tell everybody about this show.
I'm a Stan.
Hey Sky, we should see if Disney Plus has added a Stan icon. If they do, you can make Stan my Stan.
Because I've been watching Disney Plus. We have different accounts for all the family members. And,
ours too, yeah.
And Samwise has his own account. And so, since the only things that Samwise watches are dog-centered content, which there are hundreds of things on Disney Plus that are dog-centered, and
so many.
And Samwise has gone through and liked all of them. And so he's been technically the one watching Dog with a Blog.
Oh, what is his little icon?
Well, he is the dog from Up currently.
Oh, nice.
But
Doug.
he could become Stan. Definitely, I think.
If all of you dog bloggers are looking for something that was part of my childhood about talking dogs and a talking cat, and the talking cat is actually great and tolerable.
Cat dog.
Cat. No, never.
That's like talking dog and cat.
Never. Oh God, no. You can find Homeward Bound and Homeward Bound 2 on Disney Plus right now, and they're fantastic.
Though we should warn, there's no blog posts. None of the animals have blogs.
None of the animals have blogs, but they have to like find their way out of the wilderness and junk.
Yeah, to get cell phone reception to blog.
Yes, okay.
I remember reading that as a kid and liking it.
Oh, they're great. I adore them. The second movie is dumb, but it's great.
I'm gonna give this, and we do every episode for the last 52 episodes, just rate Dog with a Blog in general, and we just just see how it's updated each week. So I'm gonna give Dog with a Blog 10 paws out of 10. 10 poodle paws out of 10. Poodle paws. What is it? Buddy Bop. The Facebook, I guess it's more of an instant messenger thing, but it's just randomly, it's like Facebook in the show, but it just says buddy bop, which is hilarious.
I think it's Twitter.
Yeah, maybe.
Twitter.
Mm-hmm. It's some sort of like, yeah, I guess Twitter makes more sense because people have like profiles, but they're mostly posting things. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm giving. I'm giving it 10 poodle paws just because, I don't know. It is a very sweet. It's such a sweet show, and it's so bizarre. And I actually think it's not always super hilarious, but when it is funny, it's actually surprisingly funny for a Disney show. Like, you know, there are some episodes where you might only get like a good joke or two in, but there are some episodes where there's some pretty decent stuff, and then there's just some really weird shit that happens in the show. It just goes all over the place, and then when it's just like a dumb Disney Channel show, I find that kind of stuff very funny. So it was like a great combination of things I love, which is like fucking weird ass shit, and then also funny jokes, and also just like weird corny Disney Channel tropes.
When the show, and when the show wants to be sincere and have its heart on its sleeve, it can be sincere. Like the whole discussion that Avery and Stan have in the woods about friendship and how that can work.
Right, and they learn that to like be better friends for each other.
Right. There's morality and lesson teaching, but it doesn't feel like it's shoving it down your throat.
Yeah, and it does touch upon weirdly existential things, and like it doesn't totally stay into like the nice, you know, some of it, like friendship is a classic, you know, Disney Channel.
Duh.
But I love that it does also deal with weird existential problems that Stan's having. And like, I don't know, I always appreciate weird existential issues being brought up in kids' TV shows.
Guys, it occurs to me, we didn't talk about Stan's schizophrenia at all.
He has schizophrenia?
Wait, what?
You guys, Robert.
Oh my God, yes.
Because
his doll that he thinks talks and is real and does all this stuff.
Though sometimes he does kind of mention that it's not real. Well, it's so funny because in the final episode, when the parents find out that Stan can talk, they're like, Robert. Ellen starts talking to Robert, and she's like, "But Stan said he could talk. How am I supposed to know what in this household talks?" Which is like fair point. Good one, Ellen. Winter,
good one, Ellen.
How many poodle paws are you going to give the dog with the vlog?
I am going to give it 3 out of 3.
Nice.
Yes.
Princess Poodle Paws.
Princess Poodle Paws.
Princess Poodle Paws.
PPP. Thank you for bringing this show to us, Winter.
No problem. Thank you for enjoying it and watching this silly thing that I used to like when I was like 13.
And you brought some real concise, critique, and
you got some hot takes.
Yeah, hot takes, but also
Thank you.
I think you have a very interesting take on the show, and just brought some real knowledge too. So we appreciate you coming on the pod, the dog with the pod. You're being because Winter, I always call you Cutie Dog. So
Aww.
you are the
true.
dog of the dog with the pod.
Yeah, like maybe I'm the Shiba Inu that's born from the husky.
There you go.
Yeah, you're the Pomeranian of the poodle.
Oh my God.
Well, thank you, and we will definitely have to hit you up again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye. Okay.
Wonderful.
Our theme song is a collaboration by Lucia Fasano. I also added some of the extra lyrics onto it.
And I got to sing them.
Yeah, so it is a group collaboration between the three of us. Our YouTube channel is called Citizen White Cane Podcast. Kind of weird. We just thought those were some words.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, we thought, and then we wanted to be somewhat consistent. So our Twitter is White Cane Pod, and our Instagram and our Facebook is Citizen White Cane. And then our email is citizenwhitecanepod@gmail.com.
Let us know what you think your top 5 Stan looks are.
Yes, what are your favorite Stan outfits? Have you seen the final episode of Dog with the Blog?
Is it as crazy as everybody is telling me it is?
Yeah, and just bring the Dog with the Blog love, because I think the world needs some more dogs with a blog. It's the first day of April today, so...
Oh, right, yeah.
Bring in the spring season with some more Dog with a Blog, and we'll see you next week on Dog with a Pod. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
If you want fun things to do, you can play with the puppies. True, they're not very interesting yet. All they do right now is eat, sleep, and sometimes like to bounce on a pillow. Ah, Gracie talked! Gracie talked!
Oh my goodness, this is amazing! I can't believe it!
How do you guys deal with this? It's a little freaky seeing words come out of a dog's mouth.